All right, this is going to be the second video for notes 69. We're doing some function review. So in the first video, I reviewed what is or is not a function, and we did all the tests for question number 1. And now we're going to do evaluating and composite functions. So let's zoom in on number 2 here. So number 2 is a composite function, right? We're going to figure out g of f of negative 2. So we've got a g of x function here. We have an f of x function here. And here's the plan. We're going to start with the inside part first. We know how to figure out what f of negative 2 is. So f of negative 2 means in the f function, I'm going to replace x with negative 2. That's all it means. So let's go ahead and do that. Please use parentheses when you are substituting, all right? Especially when you're dealing with a signed value like this, because we're raising that signed number to, in this case, a square. So negative 2 squared is positive 4. So positive 4 plus 3 makes 7. So what this means for us is f of negative 2 equals 7. So right here, where I have this part highlighted in pink, I just went over it in green, we're going to replace this with 7, because that's what f of negative 2 equals. All right, so we're going to figure out then g of 7. Okay, now we're going to use the g function, and everywhere in the g function that I have an x, I'm going to replace it with a 7. All right, so 3 times 7 makes 21. 21 minus 5 is, what would that be, 16? We'll go with the 16 on that. So my final answer here for g of f of negative 2, that's going to be 16. All right, so we took negative 2, we put it in the f function, found that answer. Then I took that answer, put it in the g function. That's the final answer for the problem. All right, moving on to number 3. Okay, it's another composite function here. Oh, excuse me. And so now this time we have g of f of x. Now there's no numbers here. So it's not like I'm going to take something and put it in the f function, then take that answer. So here's the deal. We're going to take the f of x function, which over here, this is f of x, and we're going to implant it, try again, into the g function. I don't know where that wording came from. Let's try that again. So f of x, we figured out, we know, right, that equals x plus 4. So where I originally had g of f of x, I just replaced f of x with what it equals. All right, so now in the g function, everywhere I have an x, we'll do a little replacement with that x value that we're going to use. So I'm going to leave this x squared minus 2x plus 3. So all those little x places, right, those spaces get replaced. And this becomes, whoops, let's try that again. This becomes the expression I need to simplify. So to simplify x plus 4 squared, I'm going to write that twice. So x plus 4 times another x plus 4. To simplify this next step, I'm going to fully distribute. So negative 2 times x, so negative 2x. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So I'm going to keep that plus 3. And then I want to simplify, right, multiply out that first part. So again, fully distributing. If you use little arc marks, great. I'm a visual person. I like it. It also helps me remember that I've done all the multiplication. So x times x, then x times, whoops, let's try that again. Arc mark, x times 4 is going to be 4x. 4 times x, again, 4x. 4 times 4 is a positive 16. These other terms, I'm just going to go ahead and move them on down. So minus 2x minus 8 plus 3. Okay. So this should be my last step here, which means this is going to equal g of f of x equals. And let's pull all the like terms we've got here. So x squared is like to nothing else in this problem. I've got 4x plus 4x minus 2x. So 4 plus 4, 8 minus 2 is going to be positive 6x. And then let's see, I've got positive 16 minus 8. So that's going to be 8. 8 plus 3 makes pink. And that's going to be 8 plus 3 does not make pink. 8 plus 3 makes 11. Multitasking, grabbing pen colors and trying to answer at the same time. Brain only wants to do one thing at a time. All right, so there's your final answer for question number 3. Again, that's a composite function. So let's move on down. I think there's a couple more problems here. Problem number 9 is going to, or problem number 9. Okay, slow down. Problem number 4 is going to introduce something that you may or may not have seen before, and that's this symbol right here that says, it means element. Okay, I don't know exactly what the terminology is, element, but what this is saying is that this point, negative 9, 12, is an element of that function. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm asking you to find f of negative 9. So we know this is the x value. Here's my x value. And what this is asking for is what function value do you get for f of negative 9? Well, f of negative 9, well, when x is negative 9, your y value is 12. All right, so that's going to be your answer. Answer is 12. Okay, and you can tell me f of negative 9 equals 12, or you can simply just tell me 12. Okay, but that idea is it's an element. It is a point in the function or on the function that is a true statement. All right, number 5. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We have a partial function here. So we've got g of x is equal to x squared plus 2c. Now this is a little different. And I'm outright telling you that 8, negative 5 is an element of g. So here's what this means. All right, this ordered pair right here is x, g of x. All right, so when we put 8 in as x, our function, our g of x, is equal to negative 5. So what this means is that we can do a little replacement. Where we have an x, we can replace it with 8. And then where we have g of x, hey, look, this is g of x, we can say the function is equal to negative 5, and that will give us the information then to solve for c. All right, so g of x is negative 5, that's the function value. X is 8, and then plus 2c. Okay, so let's do a little math here to do some solving. 8 squared is 64. So let's go ahead and subtract 64 from both sides. What's that going to be? Negative 69 is equal to 2c. I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 2. And I will simply tell you that 2 is equal to negative 69 over 2. I don't worry about the decimal here. All right, that is my c value in order for this pair of points to be in that function. All right, a little bit of issue speaking today as I was going through and doing that video. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. So as always, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I will see you in the part 3 when I talk about the last piece, which is domain range and zeros.